protecting Main Street from Wall Street. It's time for Money Unleashed with Eric Johnson and Kyle Allyn.
You have to have a plan where you know if the market's going to go up, what happens next. And you also have to have a plan where if it doesn't go the way you think, you know what you're going to do.
It's time to put you back in control of your money.
I'm not trying to predict the weather, which is kind of what we're talking about, right? It's predicting the stock market. I'm trying to build a better boat.
This is Money Unleashed with Eric Johnson and Kyle Allyn.
This is the Money Unleashed podcast powered by Hoffman Financial Group. I'm Eric Johnson. Alongside me is Kyle Allyn, as always. We got new episodes coming your way every Friday, so make sure you're subscribed to Money Unleashed wherever you get your podcasts. But what we're going to talk about now is diversification and consolidation, Kyle. The Wall Street Journal believes it's time to bring the 401ks into the 21st century, and the article is discussing the shortcomings of the 401k model and suggests a few ways to fix it. We run into this quandary quite a bit. And 401ks are great. Old ones are not so much. But, sometimes we see people come in with 3 or 4 old 401ks and they haven't rolled over to an IRA. Why is that an issue?
Yeah, I think if you knew what you were looking at, you would understand what to do with it. So a lot of times I think when people look at their 401ks and they say, okay, I've got one at Vanguard, I've got one at Charles Schwab, and I've got one at Empower, right? I got 3 different 401ks. When they look at that, they see those names, they see the different institutions, they go to different logins, and it feels diversified. They're thinking, okay, this helps me by having 3 totally different companies and 3 totally different 401ks. Yet then when we open up those 401ks, we see that they're running an index fund of the S&P 500 of all 3 companies. So they're basically in the same thing from a tax standpoint and in the same thing from a equity standpoint. So they're diversifying, chasing multiple logins, multiple websites, multiple things for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, effectively what you're doing, in my opinion, is you're taking away the laws of large numbers to work in your advantage, right? So diversification is what's the mixes in your portfolio, not how many places your money is located. I would argue when you're getting closer to retirement, you want to have all your eggs in the same basket so you can invest it properly. And here's why I say this. Like, okay, let's say you've got 3 different 401ks, 1 current, and they're all invested the same way. The laws of large numbers will tell you that the more money that you have together in one spot, the more a smaller percentage can make you better money, right? And if you're invested the same way, you're going to be making smaller amounts over the same time frame through 3 different vehicles. And what people don't understand is when you have an old 401k, you still have expense ratios that you're paying for those investments that you have in there, which are going to be drawing down the amount of money that you're making, even if it's the same one that you're in your current 401k. And then a lot of people come in there like, hey, why is my current 401k making more money than my other 2 and they're invested the same? Well, here's a quick, simple answer. A, you're putting into that one every 2 weeks. And B, you usually have a match which satisfies the expense ratios for those specific accounts. So what I would tell anybody out there is, if you've got old 401ks, I don't care if it's us or somebody else, you've got to roll those over to an IRA. And the reason is because you have a much more robust way of growing and protecting your portfolio inside of an IRA. And you get to avoid those sneaky little expense ratios, which are going to be drawing down your performance. And then you can, buy stocks like Amazon, and you can buy stocks like NVIDIA, and you can buy an index if you want to invest that way. But if you get all your money centralized in one spot, then you can make more money. So here's a quick, for instance, if you have $100,000 and you make 1%, that's $1,000. If you've got $1 million in an account and you make 1%, that's $10,000. So I would want to see you kind of put your forces in the same spot and then have the percentages work for you in your portfolio a little bit better. So I would rather have your money work smarter for you rather than harder by making smaller percentages but more amounts of money rather than being diversified or finger quotations diversified
because your point
in multiple different spots.
One of your spots may be lagging. So your point is if you've got 2 lagging spots, 2 lagging accounts, 2 lagging 401ks, had all the money been in the 401k that was producing, you would have seen the production.
Correct.
Totally.
Yeah, 100%. And we see this all the time, too. I mean, I had a client come in the other day, and he had 9 different investment accounts spread out between 4 different entities.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult, A, to manage all of those, pay attention to them, number 2. But then, you start asking the questions like, why is this one doing good and this one's not doing good? These seem to be the same type of investments. I would argue that when you get closer to retirement, you want to condense and make your time a little bit better. You want to make your portfolio a little easier to understand, rather than spending all day trying to go to every single website, username, password, and try to figure out what's going on in each one. Meanwhile, the other ones are fluctuating and you're not seeing what's going on over there as well. So it's about being mindful of where your money's at and how you're spending your time as well while you monitor it.
Yeah, let's figure out what's working and let's put the money there.
Yeah, so the article over here suggests a few ways to fix it. What are some ways we can fix this 401k you found?
Yeah, I mean, it's just as simple as being able to consolidate, right? It's being able to move the money from the 4 401ks, roll them into one IRA, right? So if you're not yet 59 and a half, this would be the old 401ks. If you're past 59 and a half, then you can do an in-service withdrawal with your current 401k, so you can move the current one as well. But I wanted to pull your attention to this because this was fascinating to me.
Okay.
So not only are we talking about people that, whether it's moving the money out of the 401k or leaving the money out of the 401k, the statistics from Vanguard show us that roughly 40% of workers with a 401k balance between $1,000 and $10,000 cash out the account when they leave an employer, but fewer than 10% of accounts with balances over $100,000 cash them out. So here you are sitting with 4 accounts, right? You've got one with $100,000 and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to let that one run. That one's doing well. That one's a large amount of money. And then you've got 3 other accounts that say have $10,000, $5,000, and $3,000 in the accounts. You think, well, there's nothing in there. I'll just spend it.
Yeah.
However, you're not looking at your money from 10,000 feet, right? So one of the things that I'm able to do, one of the things that we do is when somebody comes in and does a portfolio x-ray, I'm not looking at Fidelity versus Vanguard versus Charles Schwab. I'm looking at you from 10,000 feet. I'm looking at you from the top level to say, you don't have 100 here and 5 here and 10 here and 5 here. You have $120,000. How do we maximize its potential? And to your point, a lot of times, maximizing the potential is finding the correct place for it to be and putting all the money, all the power in that spot.
Yeah, see, if I saw that, I would tell those people to roll everything over into one IRA. Now, if you're taking money out of these old 401ks, guys, that's a big mistake because you're getting taxed twice on this. So if you're under the age of 59 and a half, you're going to get a 10% blanket tax on whatever you're taking out, and whatever you do take out gets added to your modified adjusted gross income. So when it comes tax time the next year in April, you're getting taxed on it again. That's a big mistake. I'm with you. I would roll this over and I'd put it in an IRA and then I'd put it to work and use the laws of large numbers and compounding interest to your advantage to grow your portfolios.
And specifically, we're able to go inside of our portfolio x-ray even deeper. We can do a 401k optimizer to be able to tell you, okay, not only in the accounts that can move, but the accounts that need to stay where they are, how to optimize your situation to make sure that you're getting the maximum performance out of your 401ks and IRAs alike.
You know, you have to put this stuff together in order to have success in life. You can't just take money out and get taxed on it twice and expect to be a millionaire at the end of the day. You got to make the proper moves. So give us a call. Let's take a look at your portfolios and make sure you are in the right spots and have your money in the right spots to make a better living for yourself in retirement. 404-640-5511. That's 404-640-5511. Or you can find us online at unleashyourmoney.com.
Eric Johnson and Kyle Allyn are investment advisor representatives of Brookstone Wealth Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor and affiliate of Brookstone Capital Management, LLC. BWA and Hoffman Financial Group are affiliated under common ownership. Registered investment advisors and investment advisor representatives act as fiduciaries for all of our investment management clients. We have an obligation to act in the best interest of our clients and to make full disclosures of any conflicts of interest. Please refer to our firm brochure, the ADV2A, page 4, for additional information. The Hoffman Financial Group and WSB are not affiliated. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. This information should not be considered tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a professional specializing in the field of tax, legal, accounting, or investments regarding the applicability of this information for their situation. Any client experiences discussed during the show are unique to that client. They are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments will fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Any comments regarding safe and secure products and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to securities or investment advisory products. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company and are not offered by Brookstone. Index or fixed annuities are not designed for short-term investments and may be subject to caps, restrictions, fees, and surrender charges as described in the annuity contract. Please refer to our firm brochure, the ADV2A Item 4, for additional information. Hoffman Financial Group is not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Insurance licensed in Georgia, number 163546.